Hello, and welcome to today's Summer Camp Merge EDU webinar on uploading 3D models. My name is Stormy Cullum. I'm the Customer Success Coordinator for Merge EDU, and I will be your presenter today. My colleague will be monitoring the chat and will also assist you with any login problems you may have today. Alicia, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, my name is Alicia Constable. I am the Customer Success Advocate. I'll be monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions or if your account isn't working quite right, just message me and I will make sure that's all set up for you.
Thank you, Alicia. We will be using the Merge dashboard today and interacting with the Merge Object Viewer app. It would be awesome if you could play along. You can get the Merge dashboard at dashboard.mergeedu.com. If you have any login problems, please reach out to Alicia via chat, share your email address, and she will help you out. I would also love it if you had a device with the Merge Object Viewer downloaded along with the Merge Cube. That way you can interact at the same time I am demonstrating. If this is not possible, no worries. You will have access to this slide deck and the recorded video so you can explore at a later time at your own pace. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste into the chat the link to the Merge dashboard and a link to where you can download that Merge Object Viewer if you haven't done so. We are recording today's webinar, and you will be sent a link to the recording along with a link to any resources that are shared during today's presentation. For those of you who are in attendance, your name will be entered into a drawing to receive some wonderful Merge EDU swag. We will reach out to notify the winners and ask where you would like that swag to be sent. If at any point, just a reminder, you need assistance, again, you can reach out to Alicia via your chat. I will also use the chat to share various links during today's webinar. Notice at the bottom of the chat box, you can choose to just message Alicia, or you can message the entire group that is in attendance. Feel free to use the chat to post any questions you may have. We will try to address those questions as we are moving through the webinar. We love and encourage that participation. Speaking of, I would love if you would go ahead and take the time to share using the group chat your name, your title, school district, and where you're located. Awesome, thank you. I'm going to share a link in the chat to the web version of this presentation deck. That way, if you want to follow along as I'm going through the deck, you can also benefit from some of the clickable links that are available via the slide deck. Oh, Deborah, thank you and welcome. Computer science teacher, grades 3 and 5, Hanover Community School. Nice. Hi, Amy. Welcome from Miami, Florida, Riviera Schools. Great. Thank you for sharing. Got some more joining. Corinne and Tiffany, awesome. Tiffany, Van Vleck, Texas. Tiffany, I'm located in Texas. Alicia is located in Wichita, Kansas. Awesome. Well, great. Let me share the link. Some of you might have popped in just a little bit late. So I'm going to go ahead and reshare the link to this deck so that if you want to follow along, you can. All right. Awesome. Moving ahead. We're going to go, of course, we've done some of our introductions, and I wanted again to welcome everybody to today's webinar. We are going to do an overview of the apps and the dashboard. We're especially going to focus on the Merge Object Viewer. We're going to get you signed into the Merge EDU dashboard. And again, as I had said earlier in the webinar, right at the beginning, it's great if you want to go ahead and start that process now. Alicia can help you in the background if you're having any problems getting signed in. And just because we've just had a few people jump in, I'm going to go ahead and put the link to that Merge dashboard once again into the chat so that you can hopefully get signed into that dashboard and participate. Then we will also learn to create a collection. We're going to learn about pushing objects from Tinkercad into the dashboard. This is great because students or you can create your own custom objects to put in. And then we're going to go through finding and downloading objects online, talk about the Merge Scanner app, and then leave some time for Q&A. So Merge EDU engages students in STEM and science with digital 3D object simulations they can touch, hold, and interact with. We have the Merge EDU dashboard, which is like your hub or kitchen, where you will find all your resources to cook up that stunning and unique learning experiences for your students. This is where you will spend the majority of your time. Your students don't necessarily have to use this hub or this kitchen, except for, well, what we're going to be talking about today, maybe uploading and manipulating and creating their own objects and collections. So we also have our Merge EDU apps. We've got the Merge Object Viewer, which we will concentrate on today for today's webinar. We've got Merge Explorer, we've got Merge HoloGlobe, and now we have Merge Scanner, which I'll talk about more later. To go over these apps quickly, Merge Explorer is with Merge Explorer, students can visualize STEM and science concepts with over 100 simulations they can actually touch, hold, and interact with. Merge Explorer, along with the Merge Cube, allows students to investigate, for example, a plant cell, examine a great white shark up close, maybe hold and explore the solar system, all in the palm of their hands and so much more. Great retention for learning. Merge Explorer is a great starting point if you are introducing Merge to your teachers for the very first time, because it does have guided activity plans that can be edited to fit your own needs. And it also has check for understanding integrated quizzes. Now, these quizzes are not graded, they're just a check for understanding quizzes. And the topics are standards aligned for K-12, like physical science, life science, and earth and space science. So that is the Merge Explorer app. The Merge HoloGlobe app brings real-time NOAA and NASA satellite data and simulations to the Merge Cube, providing stunning views of the Earth and its many processes and systems right in the palm of your hand. HoloGlobe is a hands-on resource for K-12 students, educators, even citizen scientists, if you want to say it that way, who want to visualize real scientific data about the Earth, including things like rainfall, cloud coverage, ocean and land temperature, wildfires, snowfall, and more, all from all over the world. I especially love watching the time-lapse simulations. You can see simulations over a year time-lapse. HoloGlobe also includes standards-aligned topics for K-12, grade, earth, and science. And with the Merge Scanner, the fourth app that I had mentioned briefly, students can scan real-world objects and convert them to virtual 3D models. I'll speak more about Merge Scanner later in today's presentation. Now, Merge Object Viewer, which we are going to be concentrating on today, this will be our main focus on the use and implementation of the Merge Object Viewer and the ability to visualize and upload 3D models, which literally gives you the possibility of having the world at your fingertips. So you can make your program and your curriculum shine with engaging objects that are easy to implement and use so that you can provide your students with that stunning and that great learning experience. Digital teaching aids are just as effective as real physical models for learning, and Merge Object Viewer puts over 1,000 digital aids in the palm of your hand or your students' hands. Students can learn about rocks, minerals, mammals, reptiles, life cycles, cells, so much more. And with the ability for you or your students to upload your own objects, you really do have the world at your fingertips. So of course, with our focus today, we are going to be learning to upload your own 3D objects, or some of them that you could create your own custom objects and share with anyone. You could also use Object Viewer in your makerspace as a 3D print preview tool before sending creations to your 3D printer. Think about what a great savings that would be to ensure that you are printing objects that are actually ready to be printed. And of course, Merge Object Viewer also includes standards aligned for topics with K through 12, like physical science, life science, earth, and space science. Now, the Merge dashboard, like I mentioned earlier, this is the hub or kitchen that you as a teacher or an instructional leader will spend most of your time in. Hopefully you've had some time while I was talking to get logged into your Merge EDU dashboard so you can play along as we explore. I will put the link in the chat one more time, just in case you missed it, so that you can use the link to get to the Merge dashboard and follow along. And again, if you're having any type of problems with the Merge dashboard, if you see items that you think you're missing and you're seeing on our end, then please reach out to Alicia. Maybe you've had a trial account that ended and she can help you with that. All right. Any questions so far? We're good? Great. All right, moving on, let's go ahead and start exploring the Merge dashboard, and let's learn how to share teaching aids and create those custom collections. So if you log into your Merge dashboard, you will see up here on this left-hand top side, if you're logged in correctly. For example, if you are your school administrator, you should see Dashboard Administrator. If you have teacher rights, you should see Teacher. And then, of course, you could walk around your room if you were overseeing your students, and you should be able to see Student. So that way you can make sure everyone is logged in correctly. All right, now with that, notice on this left-hand side, I'm going to call this the menu. And then up here in this purple area, we're going to be able to toggle between these tabs. So a lot of times you'll hear me say use the tabs. So go ahead in your Merge dashboard and down on the lower left-hand side of the menu below Science, let's click on Object Viewer. Once you're there, you're probably seeing collections because it defaults to this collection tab. But if you would, I would like you to go ahead and click on Objects. Now you're seeing all the individual objects that are in your Merge dashboard. What I want to show you is how you can easily search up an object. So if you look over here on this right-hand side, and you can type in what you want, I'm just going to use bear as an example. If I type in bear singular, you can see I do find a bear, but I also find offering bearers. So I just wanted to make sure that you were aware if I accidentally maybe typed in bears and didn't see anything, then I might want to go ahead and just cut off the S and then make sure I'm finding what I'm looking for. So be aware on how this search engine works for you to be able to find those objects that you're looking for. Okay? Moving forward, now if you will go ahead and reselect Object Viewer, because it defaults up in the purple to your collections, you will now see your collections. Again, you should see quite a few collections here. If not, then please reach out to Alicia and she can help you with that account. From here, let's go ahead and explore a collection together. So down you'll see that there is an animal classification collection right here. Let's go ahead and tap or click on that. And then once you're in there, I want to show you some of the features that are available. If you look over here on the right-hand side, you will see share options. Now, this gives you the option to share that particular collection out. So if you'll click that, you'll see you've got a QR code or a link. So you could print or screencast the QR code, or you could copy the link, send an email, put it in your LMS, or if you're using Google Classroom, things like that to easily share out. Students can get to this collection. And think about this, students have the same ability to do this also. So if they have created collections, they can share that out. If you're team teaching with teachers and they create a collection that they want to share with you to use in your classroom, again, it makes that easy to share that out. Also, if you go ahead and select an object, so I went ahead and selected the bald eagle. Select an object and open it up, a single object. And notice now, instead of sharing a whole collection, I can use the share options to just share this single object. So again, the QR code or the copy link, and I can share that out easy enough. So you think about that. If you've got stations and you want to get students to a whole collection, you can have that QR code to scan, or like, let's say maybe you're having a parent night and students want to show the individual objects they made, they could put up the QR code and that could be scanned to get to the individual objects. All right. Also, when you are in this individual object, I want to point out to you, because this is a big concentration on today's webinar, that you also have the option when you're looking at an individual object to click on Add to Collection right down here. Now, you may at this time only be seeing my favorites because you haven't created any other custom collections. No worries, we are going to learn to do that here in just a second. But if this object was something I wanted to add to my favorites, I could simply click a check in my favorites, click away from that box, and that would add that object to my favorites. Now, let's talk about creating custom collections, because that's the beauty of this. Think about creating custom collections with objects that you can either create, your students can create, or you can go find so that you can enhance any type of curriculum that you are teaching. You can also share this out with all teachers of all curriculum areas to benefit from the Merge dashboard. So on the left-hand side of the menu, go ahead and click on My Stuff. Then notice on the tabs in the purple area, click on Collections, and then you'll see the option where you can create a new collection. So go ahead and click that. From there, you will see that you can name your collection. So think of a name that you can use just for today. You can always come back and edit it, so no problem. Now, let's talk about a few creative ways you could use the naming convention for custom collections. You can name a collection that you want to create and add to for your own lesson or curriculum needs, or you could create a collection to help guide your students. Students do not need to be in your hub or kitchen unless you want them to upload or send objects to that dashboard themselves. Anytime you create a collection, you can, again, just share out by QR code or that link. Or if you do want students to get in there, you could use join codes or rostering so students would have their own dashboard and would be able to create their own collections just like you. That is one way that students would be able to create work and other students would not be able to edit or change that work. But those same students could still share out just like you are as a teacher, whether it's the whole collection or pieces of in the objects in the collection. Now, if you are using a generic student login, students can still upload or send objects to the dashboard. They will, though, have the ability to see each other's objects, and they will also have the rights to be able to edit each other's objects. So keep that in mind. But guess what? This could also be great for group work. Let's think about that. For example, maybe you want to create custom collection titles ahead of time for groups, and then you assign those students to that group. For example, you just name it Group 1, Group 2, and you tell the students in Group 1, you are going to upload your objects to this Group 1, and so on. Group 2 will upload to Group 2, like that. And then think about this, that description field that's right here, you could use it for all different kind of reasons. The description field could be used to describe the collection, leave student directions. You could give attribution to recognize the creator of the objects, which is very important. You could even do that for your students because maybe students do such wonderful work, you're going to use that in years to come. And so, of course, you want to give them that recognition for creating that. You could even put a link to a website in here, or maybe even to a document that's associated. So if you created a collection and you created your own activity plan, maybe you just want to put that link to that activity plan just as a reminder to yourself what it is attached to. All right. So if you think of anything that I did not cover right there, or something pops in your mind on ways that you could create collections along with the group that I just kind of talked about doing group collections for students, please share it in the chat. We love new ideas. But now that we've created the shell for our collection, let's learn how easy it is to add objects to the collection. So now let's go back and locate an object. So to do that, if you go to Object Viewer, then go to Objects, find an object that you like, for example, that bald eagle, whichever you like. Now, when you go to Add Collection, notice you should see the new collection that you created. Simply click and then click away from that, and it will add it to that collection. Let us know if you're having any problems with that. Feel free to go ahead and add a few other objects to your collection just to get the practice. You will see it's very easy to remove those objects later also. Okay, now let's practice. Now that you've created a custom collection, let's say you want to share that one out. So let's learn to locate that. On your left-hand side menu, if you will go to My Stuff, Then in the purple area where the tabs are, click on Collections. Locate the collection that you created and click on it. Then notice after you open it up, right there, you have the share options. So you have that QR code or that link for you to be able to share that collection out. And remember, your students have the same ability to do this. And guess what? There is an activity plan for this. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you're going to share this out with your teachers and your students, I will show you here in a little bit how you can easily use this activity plan, edit it for your needs, and then share that out. All right, any questions on that? One more step. While you're there, if you want, pick up your device that you have or your phone and scan your QR code, and you'll see how easily it directs you to your custom collection. Or if you would like, you can just use my QR code right here, scan it. You will see how easy you can get students or yourself to a custom collection. All right, great. All right, now that we know how to create custom collections, let's explore how they work with the Object Viewer app. Now, right here, what this slide deck has for you, if you want to share this out with your teachers later, here is a short video that actually shows you Merge Object Viewer and how you can use it. But what I would like to do is go ahead and try to show you a live demonstration so that you can understand Merge Object Viewer a little bit more and how it actually benefits from you creating these custom collections and using them in the Merge Object Viewer. So I'm going to pick up my iPad right here. You can see I've just kind of got a little stand on it just to show you that. And I am going to switch my share screen. If you give me just a second here. And I'm going to switch over to my iPad so I can demo Merge Object Viewer for you. Except for I'm having a little problems with it picking up. Hold on, give me just a second here. Try that again. Well, sorry, folks, got a little hold up. All right, let me try it the long way. We're having just a little bit of problem, so I'm going to stop sharing just a minute. There we go. Let me try that one more time. And I am still not getting the screen. You're not seeing my screen, are you, Alicia?
No, I'm not. Do you want me to do the, do you want me to try on my end?
Sure, go ahead if you would like.
All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and open up. Hopefully it'll work on my side here. All right, so. All right, so you're gonna see me, hopefully it goes in here. There it goes. Okay, you can see mine.
I see you now. Thank you, Alicia, for taking over.
You're so welcome. So in Object Viewer here, we have, it's going to be that blue one with the glasses. If you don't have this download yet and it's downloading the background, you can just kind of follow along this way. And Stormy, just to clarify, you just want me to do a quick demo of how to work the tools?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so within this, you're going to see all these different collections here. So we have over 1,000 different objects throughout these collections, but lots and lots to choose from. There's stuff for, you can see we have Edgar Allan Poe, and then we have dinosaurs, butterflies, all sorts of things for science and social studies, tons of anatomy. I always like to show the animal teeth as an example because it's like the glass case full of things you couldn't touch, and now you can from science class. So we can go into snake teeth here. And then you can see here I have my 3D mode, my cube mode, and my world mode. I'll start in cube mode here. So you can see my cube here, and you can see we have all these labels. So if I click on the fang, it's going to specifically talk about the fang of the viper, which is awesome. And when students make their stuff, they can also add these labels. And then you're going to see down here on your toolbar, you have this little picture. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use, sorry, I should have pointed this out. We also have this stamp. So I'm going to use the stamp and stamp my snake and then move my cube. Now I can also take this picture and I can grab another item. So I can grab the hippopotamus head. And then I have the ability to compare and contrast these two items. Now, one of the other wonderful things to note is under your toolbar here, you have these options. You can do things like you can actually turn the labels off if you'd like. This other button here, clear scene, is very important because sometimes we accidentally place too many items. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to switch over to world mode by selecting up here in world mode, because there's some pretty cool features within world mode, and you do not need your cube for this mode. This mode actually only works on iOS devices, so if you're on a Chromebook, it's not going to work quite right for you. So I'm going to show you here, I can still do instead of saying stamp, I could do another placement by looking at my toolbar down here and just pressing place. So I can select another item. So let's say I want to grab the snake teeth again. And I can decide to place them somewhere near my hippopotamus head, maybe. Oh, there it goes. I didn't press the place button right enough. Okay, so while I'm here, I can also use my toolbar. There's the options again. I'm going to go ahead and turn my pedestal on, and I'm going to select actual size. So I can adjust the size, and then the pedestal, if I take 2 fingers underneath of that object and swipe upward, it'll bring it up onto a pedestal. Now, it's going to get real crazy here with the hippopotamus head because it's really big. So we're going to do pedestal, and I'm going to go ahead and do the actual size on that one too, and you're going to see it kind of engulfs everything here, but it's still really cool to see. So I'm going to move this over so you can see the comparison in size of that hippopotamus skull to the snake skull. So what a cool thing to be able to show students, just that difference in size. Is there anything I missed there, Stormy?
No, thank you so much, Alicia. The one thing that I do want to emphasize, though, is the great thing about Object Viewer is that with that tool, with the tools at the bottom where Alicia was showing you, you actually, because you're sharing out those collections, or the students create their collections, or think about it, if they're doing group collections, because you want to do that maybe with that generic student login, then the tool at the bottom actually takes them to that collection so that they can easily use it together. Now, think about that, for example, and we do have an activity plan for this. Students could actually build let's say rural areas to urban areas. So they could build a whole city, because in world mode, you can walk around with that and see the world, those objects out in the real world. And so students could actually look at these objects. They could take screenshots for their projects. They could do it on their devices. They could switch devices to see the worlds that they built. And then one other thing I wanted to point out, Alicia, I'm not going to have you jump back on. Thank you for doing so. But is that also when you are in those tools, you will see that those sharing options are in that same top right-hand corner for students to be able to use, so that they could share out from their own devices the QR code or the links. And then there's also an immersive reader built in. So students need to be able to use that to have those descriptions read to them, because the descriptions, where we put the title and those descriptions, that information shows in there. Okay, so I am going to go back to sharing again. Thank you so much for stepping in, Alicia, when I had some technical difficulties. And let's move on. Now that we've kind of had the demo and we see that how this will tie in, that we created our own collections, or our custom collection, and how to kind of populate that with the objects that we have in the dashboard. Let's talk about some of the other features that we have available to you before we move into creating or adding in your own custom collections to the custom collection shell or title that you created. So I talked about activity plans for just a second, and I want to go ahead and allude to that a little bit more. If you go ahead and go back into your dashboard and look down on the left-hand side of the menu and go into activity plans right there, you will see that, as I promised, we have that activity plan for create your own custom collection and even one how to upload and label your own 3D items, which we're going to walk through some today. So all you have to do if you want to check those out is click on one of those activities that you might be interested in. And what it will allow you to do is make a copy of that document. It's just a Google Doc. We have some other items in there that we're not going to talk about today, but you can check those out. For example, STEM projects that open up in a Google Slides, but all of them will make a copy for you that is editable. So from there, now you can tweak it how you need. Maybe you want to change the grade level, or you want to add in some more of your own links or information. And then, of course, you can easily share that out with your students, whether you wanted to print it or share it out through your LMS, your Google Classroom, whatever that might be. So this is the wonder of that, as far as being able to have those activity plans in place to help you get started. And then, of course, giving you those ideas to create your own activity plans so that you can enhance your curriculum for your students. Any questions over activity plans? All right. Now that we have learned to create the collection shell that we want to put our objects in, let's talk about the different ways that you and your students can either create your own objects or go find your own 3D objects. So that way, even though we have so many objects available in there, you can be creative as you would like as a teacher, and your students can be creative as they would like when they're working on projects. So one is Tinkercad that I want to talk about. Now, do any of y'all use Tinkercad? Feel free to chat away and share if you already have, your students or you have experience with Tinkercad. If not, I am going to, oh, yay, Amy, you have it. Awesome. And I bet your students love it, right? Yes, she said absolutely yes. So if you're not familiar with Tinkercad, Tinkercad is free for you and your students to use. So if you would like, if you're not familiar with it, go ahead and use the link that I just put in the chat and sign up for an account. You need to check it out. It's worth it. Your students will love it. I will walk you through the slide deck on how to upload from Tinkercad, but I'm also going to demonstrate live, so you'll have a chance to follow along with me in a minute if you've never been exposed to Tinkercad. So please go ahead and get logged in and play along with me. Now, in Tinkercad, once you're logged in, and this is a demo where an object has already been created. He's our little yellow astrobot. Once the object has been created, you can see in this little GIF that's running over and over, all you do is find that object and you click Tinker This when you're ready to move it over into the Merge EDU dashboard. Now, your students, of course, will love this because they can create their own objects and, of course, then just upload it over into the dashboard. So once you've done that and you click Tinker This, then what you're going to do is you'll look to the top right-hand corner of that web page that you're looking at in the Tinkercad platform, and you will locate a Send To button. Then you will scroll down and you're going to find the Merge EDU logo. Click that, and it's going to go ahead and send it right to the Merge EDU dashboard for you. So you see how easy this is to use. So even your littles will not have problems using this. Now, if you need more information, I wanted to show you there's a help article right here located in the slide deck that you can check out a little bit later. Now, once it's continuing to the Merge dashboard, and especially if you're already logged in, it's just going to immediately pop over there, or it's going to prompt you to get logged in. You can see that what's going to happen from it, it's just going to you'll see that you'll have it starting to upload. All you do is have to click the continue button. And I do want to kind of point out while we're on this screen, and I'll point it out again, sometimes we get a little bit of panic out of students because they see this uploaded object area and they think it's not working. And you'll see at the bottom area where it says processing, that's where you want to see that it's actually processing and coming through. All right, so once you've clicked continue, then you can see you have that same option now to go ahead and name or put a title on that object, and then you can use the description box how best fits your needs like we talked about earlier. While you're in there, you also have the option to edit 3D settings. And just because while we're here, I will point this out numerous times because this is what we're talking about. Notice how easy it is to add to a collection. So again, if you're adding it to your collection, you can do that right there. Students can add it to their collections, or maybe they're working on a generic student login and you created those group so they could add it to the correct group. All right, with that, now you have the option to make adjustments. So you can see up here, once you click the edit 3D settings, you can adjust it for the cube world. So think about this. This is the view when you first put a cube out there in Cube World that you're going to get. So you can play with the size and the position and how you want that rotated. And then of course, click save. Let me back up just a minute. You will also have the options to do that for world mode. And then remember when Alicia showed you the size, we can do the actual size, or we can make that size bigger. And then you'll have an option to add labels. And we'll talk about that more as we work through the dashboard. The other thing, just to remind you, is that you can also use this as a 3D print preview tool. Students could even have fun inspecting each other's objects. So they could share out each other's objects, let each other inspect it, then get that approval before 3D printing. And that way we're saving money that way. Does anyone, Amy, have y'all been using this maybe as a 3D print preview tool? She said, yes, she has. Thank you, Amy. Yep. It's a great way to save money before you start printing things that may not turn out the way you think. So now let me go ahead and demo, as I promised, how Tinkercad can work for you. So I'm going to jump over here to Tinkercad, and I just logged in like I'm a new user. And real quick, I am not going to teach you a lot about Tinkercad because we don't have time for that today, but I do want you to understand how easy it is to use, even though the slide deck walked us through it. In a live mode, you can see as a teacher, you can easily here set up collections, classes and collections from the Tinker mode side. So, and then also there's great tutorials in here. So you as a teacher do not have to be afraid of teaching your kids Tinkercad. They can teach themselves. These tutorials are wonderful. In fact, honestly, most students will end up teaching us more about it than we teach them. Now, notice what all you have to do, even though I don't have a 3D design, I want to walk you through how easy this is. If you are brand new to Tinkercad and you just logged in, oh my gosh, Deborah just said, this is so much fun. My kids are going to love this. Yay, Deborah, you just made my day. Alicia and I get so giddy about all this because we love it. And we love to hear when we're talking to other people that are so innovative and want to share with their students and of course, engage them in their learning. So from here, notice if you are brand new and you've never seen Tinkercad, you can play with me. Go ahead and click Create Your First 3D Design. Now from that, I just want to show you real quick. I'm not going to teach you Tinkercad, but I can easily move this work plane. Now, let's just say I need to make a circle for my students, okay? So, sometimes they see a circle as a flat, and I want them to know it's a sphere. So I'm just going to pull that object out. Now, honestly, I could do all kinds of creating and decorating and add all kinds of objects here, but because of time, I'm just going to show you how easy this is. Notice over here in the right-hand corner, there's that Send To button. So I'm going to click on Send To and go down. I'm going to find Merge EDU. And it is that simple. I'm going to continue to merge EDU. And you can see now I have this object uploading. I want to point out again, if your students panic and they look up here and say, hey, this isn't working, this is showing the number of uploaded objects that you have. And then down here, you can see when it's actually downloading. Now, but while we're here, I'm just going to point out a few things. We probably won't wait for this to upload the whole way. I'm going to show you that. But I wanted to point out that right here, it tells you what file types we support. So that's easy for you and your students to see. And yes, we can also upload zip files. Hey, that beat me. Okay. And so also, I will show you down here, it popped before I did, there was a help article right there that you could click before it got to this view. Now, if I click continue, it's that simple. Look, there's my circle. Now, if I wanted, I can just start renaming it, putting in my description. And again, I have that option to edit the 3D settings. So we can take a closer look at this right now under the 3D settings. After my object loads, you can see I could even take a thumbnail. Now, of course, this is just a circle, a sphere, so it's not that exciting. But I could actually go in and click take thumbnail, move my object around until it was facing the correct direction I want, click take thumbnail, and that would make that thumbnail look even better. Then you can see here, I can go to that cube. So this is cube mode, set the settings I want, world mode, set the settings I want. Same, the actual size, I can set it, it's in meters, okay, so that I can set the size I want. And here is this wonderful option to be able to send labels. So easily I can double click and then I could create a label, call it a sphere, a circle, put even more descriptions. Now you think about it if you're labeling a plant or a cell in here. You could do it, your students could do it. It's that simple. And then you just click save. And there it is. All I did, except for it's telling me I missed that file there. So and I'm going to go ahead and close out. All right. So it's that easy to put that in there. Then if I go back to my stuff, you can see then here is a circle I created earlier. I just didn't do all of that because of time. And you can see I've got my circle with information in there. Once again, I could add that into any collection that I want. And you have those share options to share out those objects that your students created. So you think about a parent night and the students want to create the wonderful objects they created in Tinkercad. All the parents have to do, and we can help you with that. Don't hesitate to reach out with Alicia and I in case maybe you need a generic parent login, but they would just scan the QR code and look at all the students' work. So wonderful feature there. Anything to add? Anyone comments? All right, that is Tinkercad. So let's move on. Now let's talk about uploading objects from the web. All right, so I'm going to move on to this, and there are many sites that you can go search the web and find 3D objects that you can upload. Here are a few that we're sharing out, and here is also a link to a help article that can help you with this. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to kind of demo the Smithsonian site. It's super easy to use. So I'm going to walk through the deck, but I'm going to show you live here in just a second. So right here, this is a model that we located, and you will notice it's a GLB file. If you look down here, most sites are universal with a download feature. So you find the download, and the smaller the file, the easier it works. So once I click that download, then I need to upload it. So all I need to do is go locate that download to be able to upload that file. So in your dashboard, if you go to upload, again, you will see where you can upload the file. You can drop and drag it. And I wanted to point out that there is the click here for the Get Starting Guide in case you need to look up more information easily as far as uploading objects. Then locate where the object downloaded, depending on what device you are using, and just click and drag that into the box right there. Once it's drug in, you just click continue, just like we did earlier, and then it's going to process. You will hit continue. And then there you do. You've got your upload from an object that we found at the Smithsonian site on the web. And then you just fill out the information, just like what we talked about. And all of this information would show up in the app when your students are interacting with it. Again, you can edit those 3D settings. So you have each option where you can correct your thumbnail to look the way you want. Again, cube and world mode, the size, and then you can add your different labels in there. So let's take a quick look at that. It's so easy to do. I just want to make sure you understand how easy it truly is. So if I go to the Smithsonian site, hey, if you want to do it too, I'm going to copy and paste the Smithsonian link right into the chat. So if you want to play along, please do. I love when people play along with me. So I'm going to come over to the Smithsonian site, and I'm just going to go ahead and come up to the box, the top. Notice you could explore. I'm just going to jump to collections because of time, and then just scroll down, and you can see there's already a bunch of wonderful collections that the Smithsonian site has done for us. Let's see. Let's just go into Coral collection here, and then you can see it's pretty easy to start learning your way around different sites, but I'm just going to click on view this model for this coral. And I wanted to point out to you real quick, it's wonderful to look at sites to see if they have, for example, how you can use this. Is it free or copyright restrictions in there? And also, just like we were using that description box, or we talked about it, you could give attribution to the Smithsonian site. That's where you got it. Notice here over on the right-hand side, I get some great information that maybe I want to put into the description with this. Then all I have to do is easily download it. I'm going to look for a file type that I can use, and then that low resolution, because that works best. I'm going to click that, and then of course you can see that is going to go to my downloads. Then I can open that in its folder, and then simply all I have to do once I've opened it into the folder is come back to my objects or my dashboard. I'm going to go to upload. And then even though I know you can't see me clicking and dragging, I'm going to show you it from my board, and you can see now I've dragged that in there. And there it is. It's processing. I can do the same thing by clicking continue and going through that. So that's how easy it is to find something on the web, download it, drop and drag, and then adjust it for your needs so that you're able to add it to your collections and share out. Any questions over that? I'm not going to go through the whole step, but then of course you would come over here, you could add it to your collections. You would either see it in your My Stuff under your objects, or you could go to your actual collection that you created and see it. All right. No questions? Great. Okay, I'm going to jump back over here and let's move forward. And I want to talk to you about our Merge Scanner app. Merge Scanner app is fairly new, and I want to show you what it can do for you. With Merge Scanner, students can scan real world objects and convert them to virtual 3D models. They can capture their artwork or sculptures in 3D, create 3D replicas of local artifacts, family heirlooms. They can make digital copies of objects around you anywhere. So you can view your 3D scans in this augmented reality Merge Cube world, and you could share your creations out. So you think about that. We can put this in your hands and student hands. Now, the one thing is right now we're currently only iOS Pro compatible, but I had to share this with you because I know that some of you may have those iOS Pro phones, and you can go ahead or a device and you can scan and play with this. And some of our students also have that. I know that some schools have BYOD policies, and many of our students are lucky enough to have the latest and greatest devices for their own personal use. So they also, may want to share this so they can explore this amazing tool. Just imagine whether you are on a field trip or traveling abroad, you and your students could scan objects and bring them back to share in your classroom learning environment. 2 hints to remember. When scanning, it is important to have good lighting, and also you need the ability to walk around that object to get all sides of it to get a truly good scan. You will want to keep your eyes on this one, folks, as we improve this along the way and make it available for more iOS devices, which we are working on. Okay. Woo! We have discovered a lot of amazing things you can do with Merge to engage your students. I want to take a minute to discuss, before we end, a few more innovative ways you can use custom collections to make student learning more engaging. So real quick, I'm just going to jump over to my board, and I just wanted to talk about this. If I go to My Stuff and you have your custom collections right here at the top, and here are some of our custom collections, think about this. Your students could create collections for their research projects. You can see here that I have 3D scans that came from the Merge scanner itself that we have used. Also, I was talking about that group work. Think about that. You could put your students in the group work so they have those group collections available. Or think about this. Let's make books, worksheets, textbooks come to life. Here is a book. You could create objects to go with that book. Think about how engaged your students would be then when you are reading a book or you're working through a worksheet or a textbook and it comes to life in their hands and they can interact with it. So any thoughts come to your mind on using that, please feel free to share it in the chat. One more thing I want to share with you, as you are maybe sharing with me, is that, again, the world is at your fingertips now, and you can be as innovative as you want. So before we end, I want to share a link just to show you what someone has done with the Merge dashboard. This is a university. So yes, we can go up to the university level that used Merge to create models right here so that they can put it in the students' hands for more engaged learning and better memory recall, because they can scan these QR codes and hey, you can go check it out right now. This is how we can share with the world. You can scan this QR code and then put these models in your hand. Wonderful stuff. All right. Real quick, I wanted to point out to you before we end today that we do have wonderful help and support. You could always reach out to Alicia or I, and we will be love to help you, but faster is probably this. If you go into your dashboard, notice there is help articles. If you click on the help articles, you can easily use this search bar. For example, earlier I talked about using student join codes. If you're not familiar with that, maybe you're just using a generic login at this time with your students, go here, type in join codes, you will find all the information you need. But again, we're always here to help. All right, any questions? Please feel free to pop them in the chat. I hope you have learned a lot and this was enjoyable for you today. I also want to share out with you that social media, please, when you're doing all the wonderful things that you are doing in your classroom, in your school districts, and maybe you're having those parent nights or you're doing a board meeting presentation, please share it out, social media. We love to hear about it. Hey, email Alicia and I personally. We really love to hear about it. Makes our heart feel good. You can also always reach us at success@merge.edu or support@merge.edu.com. I see a lot of you coming through and saying thank you and that this was great. Thank you for giving us that feedback. And I want to thank all of you for joining us today as we explored the exciting possibilities of creating custom collections and uploading 3D objects with Merge EDU. We've covered a lot of ground on ways that you can enhance your lessons with the use of the Merge EDU dashboard and the Merge apps. Remember, the journey doesn't end here. Continue to experiment, innovate, and inspire with Merge EDU in your classrooms. And if you have any further questions or insights to share, please don't hesitate to reach out. And here's to transforming education through immersive learning experiences. Thank you, and y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Alicia.